Mongoose Jake here with what I'm going to try to keep as a shorter video detailing what I plan to do to my Buzz Bee Snipe. Now, for those of you who haven't ever seen a snipe torn apart, this is what you've got. It is a true bolt action. This is where the bolt actually connects. True bolt lever. It goes in there with a push pin, which you just simply can tap that pin out to remove the bolt before you pull the blaster apart. I'm actually going to take this little piece out of the way. This is actually a dart guide, and you don't want to remove this. This actually helps in the performance of the blaster. At least it helps with feeding issues. It sits here and provides a little pressure to the top of the dart to help it feed better into the breech. So that piece, do not lose it if you ever buy a snipe and take it apart. What I'm going to go over here though is my plans. I've had it apart already, and number one thing I did was, of course, you can see straight through that. So therefore, that air restrictor is completely gone. I actually opened up the airport with a large drill bit. Be sure not to ever damage the breech if you're going to do the drilling method. I took a very long drill bit, came from the back side, and so I had no contact with the breech, and therefore this thing is still going to have very good seal. I am not going to brass it. I'm not looking for that level of performance. Plus the fact that brass, you do it because you're going to brass the barrel as well, and I can't fire Buzz Bee Precise Pros out of a brass barrel, so that idea is gone. And also, for those of you who've never seen a Buzz Bee mechanism inside, here's your plunger. It catches at the back end with a vertical catch. Very nice self-contained design. You do not need to take the catch apart in any way, shape, or form. And the stock spring on the catch is very good. You do not need to upgrade that unless you're going to go insane. And something on Buzz Bee blasters, you do not need to go insane on the spring loads. Stock spring load on this is pretty good. Just for comparison, here is a Buzz Bee. I mean, not a Buzz Bee spring. This is the Buzz Bee Snipe spring. This is a stock Retaliator spring. So you can see there, even at the bottom, that's got a full extra inch on it, but it is the same diameter as a Retaliator spring. So if you don't mind giving up a little draw, you can actually put in a, say, 7 kilogram spring into here. Something to be mindful of though. If you modify snipes, the connection point of the bolt onto the pivoting mount, that can sometimes become a weak spot. Which, if you're going to do a high spring load, just go ahead and redo this with a metal ring with a metal mount. And while you're at it, go ahead and put on like an alloy bolt as well, which eventually down the road is my plan. For now though, I'm going to remove the air restrictor. The stock spring on a Buzz Bee Snipe is actually a higher tension than a stock Retaliator spring. I'm not looking to actually upgrade this at this point. I may later. I will remove the lock system. That's here. And this is a surprising point. Snipes have a very, very loose O-ring. There's a lot to be gained there with just a couple wraps of E-tape or Teflon tape. And that's what I'll be doing. So I'll be doing that. I've already done the air restrictor removal. I'm going to remove my lock, which is actually quite simple. Let's just get the trigger out of the way. And pull the trigger out of the way, and that'll allow the lock to release. Again, Buzz Bee, very nice lock design, self-contained. Just take that, set it aside. You can save it if you want to put it in a box and mark it. You can save that for if you decide to sell the blaster and you want to include the lock. You know, somebody might want to put it back in, or you could put it back in before you sell it. But that is my plan. There's the lock removal right there. And just as a tip, there's 2 solvent welded points. I did these off camera because they're very easy. I've had snipes apart before. This is the back cap that goes over the back end of where the breech would be. You know, over the whole lock of the breech and plunger tube assembly. Which again, this is a one-piece breech plunger tube. A lot of Buzz Bee blasters are like that. This one, if you work a flathead screwdriver around gently, you can get it to just pop off without too much effort, because the solvent weld is not horrible on this one. On all snipes, the front piece is extremely solvent welded on. I don't even attempt to take them off. As you can see, I cleanly sliced with a very sharp brand new razor blade and putting a lot of pressure. I just sliced right down the middle where the shell halves come apart. When together, this actually looks like it was meant to be, you know, come apart the same way. And while I was at it, I trimmed apart trimmed a little piece off of the magwell on each side of the shell, so that now this will accept Nerf drums. It'll accept Nerf mags straight out of the box, but the problem with Nerf drums is not the actual catching anywhere here, it's the flare. This flare is just a little too fast for the shell of the snipe, and you don't need to hack up the shell. All you need to do is trim out right here, a little bit here, and a little bit to the front on each of these little cross supports. Just trim it to be flush, and then you can actually have a Buzz Bee Snipe running 25 round Nerf drums. But just some plans: air restrictor removal, lock removal. I'm gonna e-tape this, and I'll come back and give my kind of finished results of this minor mods, because I don't think I'll need to do a whole lot more to it. But we'll see what kind of gains I get out of just doing these, you know, homemade mods, because there's no money really involved in any of this, just a little bit of time and effort. But if this is interesting to you, you know, go ahead and support the channel by giving me a thumbs up if you liked it. You know, feel free to become a subscriber if you're not already, and I thank you for watching even if you don't do any of that. This is Mungus Jake, featuring my Buzz Bee Snipe and what my plans are to do for it. And again, I thank you for watching.